You're listening to the Lo-Fi Music Academy podcast, your go-to space for all things lo-fi. Sit back, relax, and let's dive into the world of lo-fi music production.
Hi, and welcome to the Lo-Fi Music Academy podcast. I'm Spencer J, your guide through the chilled-out, atmospheric world of lo-fi beats. Today, we're diving into another essential aspect of lo-fi music production, creating the perfect atmosphere. When it comes to lo-fi, the atmosphere is everything. It's what sets the mood, draws the listener in, and keeps them immersed in that chilled-out, nostalgic vibe we all love. Whether you're a beginner just starting out or an intermediate producer looking to refine your sound, this episode is packed with tips and techniques to help you craft an engaging, textured atmosphere in your lo-fi track. So what do we mean by atmosphere in the context of lo-fi music? Simply put, atmosphere refers to the ambient, environmental elements in your track that create the mood and space. It's that soft, distant sound that feels like a breeze, the vinyl crackle that adds warmth, or the gentle hiss that brings a sense of nostalgia. These elements help immerse your listeners and give your music that signature lo-fi vibe. The first thing to understand when creating atmosphere in lo-fi music is the concept of space. Lo-fi tracks often have a laid-back, roomy feel with plenty of sonic breathing room. This gives the listener time to process the subtle elements in the music and relax into the vibe. To create this space, think about how you're arranging your instruments and sounds. For instance, your melodies, chords and bass lines should have enough room to breathe without overcrowding each other. This is where techniques like EQ and panning come into play. Rolling off high frequencies from your bass and placing certain sounds like pads or ambient noises slightly off center in the stereo field. This helps build an immersive, expansive sound. Remember, less is often more in lo-fi. Instead of filling your tracks with too many elements, allow the space between your sounds to carry the weight of the atmosphere. One of the most effective ways to create atmosphere in lo-fi is by incorporating ambient textures and field recordings. This could be anything from the sound of rain falling, birds chirping in the distance, or even light urban noise like footsteps or distant traffic. Field recordings bring a sense of place to your track. They give listeners a visual element, even though they're only hearing the music. A great way to start is by recording your own sounds. Grab your phone or portable recorder and capture the sound of your surroundings. Maybe it's the park near your house, the hum of a coffee shop, or waves at the beach. These natural, organic sounds add a personal touch to your music and set your tracks apart. If you don't have access to field recording equipment, don't worry, there are plenty of free sound libraries available online where you can find high-quality ambient samples to use in your tracks. Another classic way to build atmosphere in lo-fi music is by adding vinyl crackle or tape hiss. These subtle, imperfect sounds bring warmth and a vintage feel to your track. Vinyl crackle makes it feel like the track is being played on an old record, while tape hiss can evoke memories of worn-out cassettes, adding a layer of nostalgia. Plugins like iZotope Vinyl and RC20 Retro Color are excellent tools for introducing these types of textures into your music. They allow you to manipulate the amount of noise, wobble, or wear in your sound, giving you full control of how old or imperfect the track feels. Top tip, make sure to balance these effects. Too much crackle or hiss can overpower the song, so aim for subtle layers that enhance the atmosphere without distracting from the main elements. Reverb and delay are essential tools for adding depth and space to your lo-fi track's atmosphere. By using reverb, you can make certain elements sound distant, while delay can add a sense of movement or even create a dreamy echo effect. However, In lo-fi, these effects are often used sparingly to avoid washing out the track. For example, a small touch of reverb on your chords or melody can make them feel more spacious without drowning them in ambience. Similarly, using a tape-style delay can add a bit of vintage character to your lead elements. The goal is to create a sense of space while keeping everything cohesive and intimate. Top tip: use automation to gradually increase or decrease reverb and delay during key moments of your track. This adds dynamic shifts and keeps your atmospheres evolving. Finally, let's talk about layering soundscapes and pads to build a lush, immersive atmosphere. Pads in particularly are soft, sustained sounds that can fill out the background of your track. Think of them as sonic glue that holds everything together. They can be as simple as a low-pass filtered synth or as complex as a heavily processed field recording. By layering these elements under the main instruments, such as your melody or drums, you can create a rich backdrop that enhances the overall vibe. Remember, the key to good layering is subtlety. You want these sounds to be present, but not necessarily front and centre. Top tip: use sidechain compression to subtly duck your pads or ambient sounds whenever the kick or snare drum hits. This creates a smooth dynamic relationship between your drums and the atmosphere, adding to the track's groove. So there you have it, some essential tips for creating the perfect lo-fi atmosphere. By focusing on space, adding ambient textures, using vinyl and tape effects, and incorporating reverb and delay, you'll be able to craft an immersive, nostalgic vibe that pulls listeners in and keeps them hooked. Remember, atmosphere is what makes lo-fi music so emotionally engaging. The right textures and effects can transform a simple beat into a sonic journey. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider subscribing, leaving a review, or sharing it with fellow music producers who might find it useful. Until next time, keep creating, stay inspired, and remember, it's all about the vibe. Take care and see you in the next episode.
Thanks for tuning in to the Lo-Fi Music Academy podcast. If you're ready to start making lo-fi music and want to go even deeper, grab your free guide. Discover the 6 essential steps to create a release-ready lo-fi track from scratch. Whether you're using budget gear in your bedroom or a small home studio, this guide will help you get that polished, dreamy lo-fi sound you're after. Just go to www.lofimusicacademy.com. Until next time, keep creating those laid-back vibes, and don't forget to subscribe for more lo-fi tips and tricks.